While digging through recent filings, I came across something big today. Wells Fargo, the $1.9 trillion banking giant, has just filed a brand new patent directly mentioning XRP, Bitcoin, and Litecoin for expedited math based currency or crypto transactions. What does it mean when one of America's largest banking institutions, one of the largest in the world, patents crypto payments technology? Let's break it down. This isn't just a headline you're going to see anywhere across the crypto space or recycled information. This was buried in the USPTO database. Wells Fargo, one of the United States' big four banking entities with nearly $2 trillion in assets, 217,000 plus employees, and more than 4,100 branches, filed this continuation patent in March of 2025. It was published just this July. And unless you're hunting for patents in crypto, you probably have not seen this yet. The problem that they're trying to tackle here: settlement times on blockchains, different blockchain networks, different crypto networks. For example, a Bitcoin payment can take 10 minutes plus to be confirmed, and some of us OGs know much longer than 10 minutes. Same thing with Ethereum. Litecoin is faster, but still averages around 2.5 minutes. XRP, on the other hand, and mentioned in here, usually settling in 3 to 5 seconds directly on the network. Now, to share this patent with you, and as you can see up at the top, systems and methods for expediting math-based currency transactions, application filed by Wells Fargo Bank, 2025, March 31st, publication 2025, July 17th. You get into the weeds with, some of the imagery that they have in here. For example, the customer may pay the merchant with Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, or the like. The purchase may be actually in person or online, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what I want to focus on here is these settlement times, expediting settlement times. As I mentioned, Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP about 3 to 5 seconds, obviously pretty quick, right? Now, if you're buying coffee at a coffee shop or buying groceries, no one wants to wait minutes for some of these networks to clear. Now, I want to preface, I suspect that this is a Wells Fargo patent about all of crypto. They're giving examples of XRP, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, which is also interesting, obviously. Anyways, merchants especially do not want to risk handling over goods before they know that a transaction is final, before they know that they have the funds on the back end of that transaction. This should let people, understand how quickly we are really seeing mass adoption of this technology, though, for an entity like Wells Fargo to safeguard themselves. This is where the patent comes in. Wells Fargo outlines two tools that are going to eliminate settlement times for cryptocurrency usage across the board at vendors, whoever, for payments. Number one that Wells Fargo is patenting and talking about in here is a customer score. Think of this like a crypto credit score. The bank will look at an individual's blockchain history because the majority of blockchains are transparent, right? Balances, and if you're a Wells Fargo customer, your traditional credit history accounts. Then they're going to generate a trust score predicting how likely your crypto payment is to succeed. You know how we have those credit card apps right now, and you have a credit card and you use it and you kind of monitor your credit score and everything else? Think about that, but with crypto. So, Wells Fargo literally talking about generating a trust score, predicting how likely your crypto payment is to succeed. Secondly, they're talking about a bank guarantee. Wells Fargo is talking about attaching a guarantee ID to your crypto transaction, where if your transaction for some reason or other fails, Wells Fargo will step in and pay that merchant directly, either in cryptocurrency or fiat from the patent, and then recoup from the customer where possible. The result: merchants, when adopted, can let you walk in and out of a store instantly after paying with Bitcoin, Litecoin, or XRP because the bank has already guaranteed settlement. Wells Fargo's payment power, to put this into perspective, they are not new to payments across the board. They've been the number one ACH originator in the United States for 10 years straight, the automated clearinghouse, moving nearly 8 billion automated clearinghouse or ACH payments in a single year. That is quite literally over a quarter of all United States bank transfers. So let me say this again. the banking entity that's one of the big four in the US that runs over a quarter of all United States bank transfers for ACH, bank transfers in general, 25%, is talking about expediting crypto transactions at merchants, talking about XRP, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin. Does anybody see where all of this is going right now as far as where we're kind of headed towards with mainstream adoption? So, if they ever put this crypto patent into practice, they already run enough of the payments rails, have enough of the corresponding relationships to make this impactful and to make something like this successful. Why this matters, this is not just a defensive patent on banks, some of the biggest banking entities in the world ousting crypto and trying to protect themselves. It's literally an integration patent. It's a clear sign that traditional banks are very much so exploring how to tie public blockchain networks into everyday payments and settlements. Imagine paying with Bitcoin at Walmart, Litecoin at Target, or XRP at Starbucks. And Wells Fargo is going to guarantee that payment instantly. It's a very different future from where we live right now and how crypto is looked at by the mass populace, the 95% of the world that still is not here. Remember, this is a pending patent application. This is not a live product yet. Those crypto names, Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, are examples in the filing. Bank patents option that they may never use. Still, the fact that Wells Fargo filed this in 2025, as we showed before, shows that they are very much so actively researching integration. So my final thoughts here, and I should preface this as well, doing some digging into prior Ripple and XRPL, XRP connections into Wells Fargo. I do not think that there's been any prior integrations with Wells Fargo and Ripple or Wells Fargo and XRP usage or any of that stuff. So this is interesting that this patent's out there in the wild now. Here's the bottom line. A $2 trillion bank that processes 25% of all banking payments in the United States annually. And I gave you some of the numbers around the ACH system, is quite literally exploring how to guarantee crypto transactions in real time. It's not confirmation of mass adoption yet, and the utility mass adoption still certainly isn't here, but it's a strong signal of where the future financial system could be headed. Now, I want to mention too on the back end of this, because there's just one more thing. This week was wild in crypto. Exclusive IPO of Winklevoss founded crypto exchange Gemini is over 20 times oversubscribed now. On Monday, we talked about the NASDAQ filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission days before any of these other news outlets broke that. And what impacts that had to literally have tokenized stocks sitting alongside regular stocks with all of the same assurances that would exist in the stock market right now, but the ability to move in and out of different funds through blockchain and distributed ledger crypto technology. On Tuesday, NASDAQ had announced that it was investing $50 million into Gemini. Now, you see what happens here today. I think that their IPO goes live tomorrow. I could be wrong there, but over 20 times oversubscribed. It's pretty easy to understand where this is going. And then I want to end this with a soft plug of my company, Genfinity. We want to keep bringing you a lot of this information, a lot of these interviews as quickly as we can. So I think the question that I have here, and I guess the ask of you guys, and I guess first and foremost, I'll mention we're doing the closing ceremony for Hedera's Hello Future $550,000 epic trilogy of hackathons. I want to say the first hackathon was 125 or 150K. But I'm hosting that ramp down of the hackathon on Monday at 10 a.m. So you're going to see use cases across RWAs, real world assets, tokenization, all the stuff we talk about here. Agentic AI, which I still don't think has hit crypto to the mass amount that it's going to yet. NFTs and some other use cases. But I would ask if you guys could go and give Genfinity, if you like my content, I do all these interviews on here as well. I would ask that you go follow Genfinity.io. And really, I'm going to put out some, if you guys do go and follow, and I'll start realizing if you guys do, trust me, I'm going to kind of put out some call to action tweets and ask you guys what you want us to deep dive into, what you want us to research. Some of you guys know the DTCC patents that I found and put on here. We want to be researching stuff for you guys. I think that citizen journalism in crypto, most people think that it still exists. Trust me, it does not exist. So if you guys have stuff you want written about, stuff you want deep dived, interviews that you want to have happen, do have the opportunity to try to use and leverage some contacts to try to get some of these interviews that you guys want. And trust me, if we're loud enough, we can get them. So go give at Genfinity IO a follow at Gen on Twitter, and then at Genfinity Media on X, and check out the ridiculous amount of articles that we've written on the site. So what do you guys think? Do you think that the Wells Fargo patent is just another dusty patent, an example of crypto never being adopted, or the first of many steps of these banks making crypto as seamless as using your Visa or MasterCard? Let me know in the comments. If you like real research and deep divey type content, please like and subscribe. I appreciate the comments of people down there that are saying, I can't believe you're not at 100K yet, but we're going to get there at some point, guys. And please give at Genfinity IO a follow on Twitter, and tell us what you want to see next, as far as tag us and tell us what you want to see written about and what interviews you want to see. And yeah, Wells Fargo, one of the big four in the United States, 25% of all banking transactions in the US, systems and methods for expediting cryptocurrency-based transactions, mentioning Bitcoin, Litecoin, and XRP. I will talk to you guys when I talk to you. Bye.